I don't have to make a horror comedy because someone else is making it.
Yeah. What if they
Nor
ask-
should I make it because it's becoming successful. Amir, not at all. Amir's pretty fearless. A fearless guy. You can't get credit for something people don't understand. It takes a great amount of courage to just hang up your boots and throw in the towel and say, this is it.
Of course, your film is releasing. Um, I've just been told that it's the first film in years that has gotten a UA certification. So how does that feel to go from streak of horror films to now doing a full blown mainstream film with family audience?
I mean, there was a time when directors were, how should I put it, acclaimed for being prolific
Yeah.
and versatile.
Hmm.
And then came a time where, everyone was trying to create a brand for themselves.
Yeah.
And you have to be a brand.
Hmm.
So if you look around, every director has a kind of a genre.
Yeah.
If I name a director and you'll be like, yeah, okay.
Hmm.
He makes those kind of films. And I was like, so if I'm not going to get a brand, then perhaps I'm not going to be able to survive. So I made myself a horror brand.
Hmm.
Having done that, I'm now moving to get myself a new brand.
Okay.
Vikram Bhatt 0.40, I think.
There have been a lot of them.
A lot of them, yeah. So this is a
But
fresh update. Please install.
but what is this brand going to be like?
This brand going to be, of course, I can't leave the exciting twists and turns kind of cinema. For me, if something is not holding on, then something's not working. So here goes a new brand of me that's going to make felt, emotional, deep family cinema.
Yeah.
And not get into this divide between multiplex cinema and single screen cinema. Just make it for the audience I once used to make it for.
Okay. But where did that switch come from? Do you feel like people are not connecting to horror these days because one of our greatest hits is a horror comedy?
No. It's nothing to do with horror.
Yeah.
It's just that I have done a lot of it.
Yeah.
People are discovering a new genre called horror comedy.
Yeah.
Not that I'm not going to make a film that I've done. Haunted is releasing soon in 3D. So that is, and I might be directing 1920 myself, which I haven't done for 16 years. So it's not that my passion for horror cinema is gone, but I'm not going to limit myself, is the point here. I'm going to do any film. I'm not going to fall into the branding trap. I'm not going to become niche. I'm not going to let anybody slot me.
So you mentioned horror. I think so. Haunted 3D was, I think, the first 3D horror movie to come out of India. Your recent film Juda Hoke Bhi, which was made, I think, in virtual production. So, and obviously we all know about Raz. So you've always pushed the boundaries of what this genre is. Do you feel that over the years you've gotten enough credit for the innovation?
Not at all.
Yeah.
I was the first one to make a film in HD.
Oh.
I was the first one to make a stereoscopic 3D film.
Yeah.
I was the first one to make a completely virtual reality film. But how can I get credit for all these things when people don't even know them? People don't even know what virtual production is. Big directors don't understand virtual production. You can't get credit for something people don't understand.
What I found really exciting about this film when I watched the trailer was that it brings back a kind of a gentle romance that you were once, synonymous with, whether it was Ghulam or even Raz, moments in Raz. That was so touching. So, what do you think is the trick behind bringing romance to screen? Does it happen on paper? Does it happen in execution? How do you build that chemistry?
I think it's, when you're writing it, you have to identify with it. Either you have to identify with it, or you choose people around you
Hmm.
who you can say, ah, this is my couple.
Hmm.
When you take a real life reference,
Yeah.
the chances are more than not you will get a real life romance. But when it's too much make believe,
Hmm.
then you'll find it hard to connect. I've seen some recent films where I don't understand where this film is taking place.
Hmm.
What is this utopia?
Hmm.
Where is this? Where do people talk like that? Where do people dress like that?
Yeah.
What is going on here? Um, I mean, it can be a fantasy, and you can ask me to put my my thinking cap off and watch the film. But then you can't feel real emotions in it.
Yeah. So speaking of Ghulam, I think it's re-releasing in theaters
I
next
believe
week.
so.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting that your new film Tumko Meri Kasam, is sharing the a space with Ghulam, which
Ghulam
is
won't be there. I think it's releasing. All these films are only for a day, I'm told.
is it? No, I think they're releasing all one after the other, but spread across
Yeah,
2 weeks.
so I
Yeah.
think they have all one day to
Oh,
themselves
okay.
because there's a festival of
Yeah, yeah,
Amir's
Yeah.
films. Yeah.
But I was at the trailer launch of that festival, and the loudest cheers were reserved for the train sequence of Ghulam. Like when that comes on screen, everyone just lost it. So, do you remember recreating that sequence because it's iconic?
Yeah, 11 nights
Oh God.
in Sanpada station, on
Hmm.
Sanpada station. I remember every bit of it.
Hmm.
January, it used to get nippy. And the thing was that, uh, on one side of the station, on one side of the track
Yeah.
was the railway yard.
Okay.
So we could only shoot on one side.
Ah.
So I had to make both sides. I shot both the sides on one side, if you know what I mean.
Hmm.
The train was also coming from there, and Amir was also coming from there
Hmm.
because on the other side was the yard, and that was a tricky one. I got malaria in the middle of it. My doctor, as they call it, gave me Ghodeka injection,
Okay.
and I was up in a day. We ran out of train time. We had to get a train for one more day. Oh my God, so many things. But I think it came out really good.
Was he scared to do the
Amir,
shoot?
not at all. Amir's pretty fearless.
Hmm.
He's a fearless guy, and very dedicated. Very dedicated. It was fun to make this film with him.
Hmm. He's turning 60, and still so relevant. So when you work with him, he was already, I think, 10 years into the film industry, at least
No more.
more.
I think
10 years in,
Amir's
as a lead
first
actor.
film was 84, if I'm not mistaken. 84, 85.
Yeah. I think Kayamat Se Kayamat Tak was
Yeah.
88.
88?
Yeah, 88.
Yeah, 88.
Before that, he was in like Holy and all
Yeah,
those
yeah.
movies.
88
Yeah.
was.
So, did you, when you work with him, did you feel like he's going to have this longevity, that we're going to be celebrating him 20 years later,
But there's
25
no
years?
doubt.
Mm.
There was no doubt about Amir's stardom because, he's a very intelligent, thinking man, someone who changes with the times, understands his faults, corrects it, course corrects. Such a person is bound to have a long trajectory.
Mm. Yeah, I think one of the enduring moments of Ghulam, except the climax, is Atika Khandala and him doing the matchstick step. Uh, did you know that they're going to recreate it in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum with other cast members, with Amitabh Bachchan, Jaya Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Kajol, and Rani Mukherjee? Like, did you know about it when, or did you see it and you were surprised that
I
this
didn't
is
see the film.
okay?
Um, and no, I'm not surprised. I mean, there are certain filmmakers who like to give a nod to other films, which is nice, I think.
Okay. I think one more thing that you don't get enough credit for is the comedies that you did. Avara Pagal Divana and Diwani Hoye Pagal, which is one of my favorites. Also because of the high meme value they have now.
Yeah.
So what will take you to direct another
Oh no, it's
ensemble
on the plate
comedy?
now.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm making a film as crazy as Avara Pagal Divana.
Okay.
I finished writing it.
Okay.
Now I have to just cast it. I need money for it.
Is it tough to cast ensemble comedy now?
It is, but I'm not aiming at a big cast.
Okay.
You know, I want a fairly new
Hmm.
kind of cast.
You're not involved with the sequel of Avara Pagal Divana.
No, I'm not. Though Firoz asked me
Yeah.
to make it, but I'm not that young man who can go into the desert and shoot flying bikes. And I
We're
told
looking at that
Firoz,
scale.
yeah, Firoz. No, Firoz makes film on a scale, and I'm like, I'm nearing 60 now, and desert I'll pass.
Well, horror comedy, is that your jam? Maddock universe is building one horror comedy universe.
I don't have to make a horror comedy because someone else is making it.
Yeah. What if they
Nor
ask?
should I make it because it's becoming successful.
What if they ask you to like direct one of them?
When I can make horror separate and comedy separate,
No, can't mix the.
then why should I not make two films? I would rather, sell fear and laughter separately. Then sell laughter in a film and kind of dilute my brand. Because after that, when I come out with a horror film, if it is a serious horror film, then people won't understand whether they are going to expect a romantic horror comedy, or are they going to expect a straight on horror.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of a disservice to everything I've done till now.
Well, I think this is the first time Tumko Meri Kasam that you work with Anupam Kher. So in all these years, obviously Mahesh Bhatt has worked with him extensively. Did you have a conversation with him about how to direct, whether to direct or not, Anupam Kher? Like whether he needs that direction or how is
No,
he
of
to
course,
approach?
everyone needs direction.
Yeah.
And we've not worked together, and he's a senior. Mm, But then I have been directing for 35 years. So, by that logic, we are almost contemporaries. But we had a great time. We started off by being actor director, ended up being great friends. And in him, I have found someone that I can chat with, I can talk to about anything under the sun. He's a wise man.
Yeah.
And a very loving man, a friendly man, of course, but a loving man, warm person. He'll call you, he'll check on you. He's a friend's friend. And I think films are just a way of coming close to people and finding lifelong friendships sometimes.
Yeah. How is your equation with Asha Deol? Because I think she reached out to you as saying that she wants to work again, and after 14 years that she's done a theatrical release. So when she reached out to you, did you feel like, okay, this is the one talented actor who may not have gotten her due, is going through something rough personally and wants to like redeem herself?
Uh, no, I don't think you should cast someone out of any kind of sympathy.
Hmm.
You can be a friend.
Yeah.
But professionally, I cast her because she's a good actor and she did very well in Ankai.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. And when she reached out to me, I was looking for someone to play the lawyer's role. And it was, I think, a mutually right thing to do, because let's just say it was a kind of mutual needs being answered, not just her need.
I've observed that you've always worked with newcomers, people who are like 1 or 2 films old, right from Rani in Ghulam to Bipasha Dino, and even Ritik Amisha. So, what is the thought behind that? Is it conscious?
No, I don't think that way. I think that, I mean, who would not want to do a film with a star?
Yeah.
Everyone wants to. But I'm a impatient filmmaker, and I cannot wait a long time for one film to come to fruition,
Right.
because obviously stars are busy and
So you have to wait for
you
them.
have to wait for them. It takes a year and a half. And I feel if I wait for a year and a half, I won't know what to do with myself. I might just kill myself. That director is no good. So, I think I'm happier doing films, making films with good talent and available talent.
Since you've worked with Mahesh Bhatt since your AD days, do you recall the time when he wanted to take a back seat from direction and wanted to give others the platform? What was he going through then? Like, why did he decide?
I think he's a very honest man, and it takes a great amount of courage to just hang up your boots and throw in the towel and say, "This is it, no more." He realized that he wasn't interested in the everyday shooting, and he was like, "Why should I be dishonest?" It. I remember him telling me that, Vikram, people do this for either love or for the money. I don't need the money, and I'm not in love with it. Which is a very, very honest thing to do. A lot of people still keep working when they're barely interested, and they don't need the money, but they still keep on the farce. And he had the strength and the courage to say, no more.
Have you ever felt that that I may also get there like very soon? Do you have like burnout, or when you feel saturated as a
There are
filmmaker?
times when you feel a burnout,
Hmm.
especially if you're a workaholic. It can happen. The trick is to recognize it.
Yeah.
The trick is to understand, this is getting me overwhelmed. I have to take a back seat and I have to take some time off. And I do that.
Okay. Finally, I recently read that you make films so that सीटियाँ और तालियां तो
बजनी
बजनी
चाहिए।
चाहिए। तो अभी आपको क्या लगता है that मतलब सीटियाँ तालियां क्यों नहीं बज रही है स्पेशली हिंदी फिल्म्स में?
आई थिंक सीटियां तालियां इसलिए नहीं बज रही क्योंकि हम ऐसा लिख नहीं रहे। अगर ऐसा लिखेंगे नहीं, अगर हीरो की इंट्रोडक्शन ऐसे होगी नहीं तो सीटी कोई मारेगा नहीं। पहले उसका पैर का शॉट आना चाहिए, फिर एक सिगरेट गिरती है, फिर गॉगल्स आते हैं, तो सीटी बजेगी। अगर बेचारा वो सीधा दरवाज़ा खोल के ऑफिस में बैठ जाएगा तो सीटी नहीं बजेगी। ये जन्नत की हकीकत है।
आई होप दैट आपकी मूवी में बहुत सीटियां तालियां बजे।
थैंक यू। सो प्लीज टेल योर ऑडियंस इट्स 21 मार्च, तुमको मेरी कसम। प्लीज प्लीज देखिएगा।
थैंक यू सो मच फॉर योर टाइम।